Do you see that when you go around the country, that people are not enjoying the benefits of this booming economy that we're supposed to have?
Well, when they say booming economy, it really is very bifurcated. The people enjoying it are people at the top, and most people aren't. There's a middle class squeeze that's going on. There's no doubt about it. The average wage has been stagnant for a number of years, and since Bush has become president, poverty has increased every year. So this is not a booming economy for everybody. It's really an economy for those at the top, and
And the rich are getting richer, and the middle class is
it's shrinking.
yeah, it's disappearing. We say
Yeah,
that.
and people are just feeling more and more stress and more risk in their lives. Pensions are disappearing. This is why Bush had no luck at all with Social Security, because people didn't want to introduce another level of risk where it was unnecessary.
Yeah. What happened in Crawford, Texas in summer of 2003 was interesting. We were watching it just before we went on live at 6 o'clock. He did a news conference with the reporters from the big city, all kind of sweating and everything, and he said that there was 3 shocks to the economy that caused the recession in 2001. One was the terrorist attacks, one was the stock market bubble collapsing, and the scandals. And I was sitting there thinking, wait a minute. By the time we went on live, I go, wait, he rewrote history. Is that those things occurred basically after we had the recession. And he was saying, well, don't vote me out the way my dad got voted out. Don't, this is not my dad's economy.
I think that to some extent it may have been caused by, to no small extent, by the gouging of California by the utilities and by the energy traders, because this is a big part of the American economy, and California was damaged tremendously at the beginning of the Bush administration. But we had just come off of 8 years of expansion from Clinton. He spent a lot of time exaggerating. For example, he would blame 9/11 for the loss of 1 million jobs. Well, we went into the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and what they said, and it was much less. It was like 160,000 jobs.
Yeah.
I think we're probably losing more jobs from Katrina, obviously, than we did from 9/11.
Yeah, there was a big loss. In fact, the number of jobs that have been lost has not been gotten back yet. Is that the Wall Street Journal and the other conservatives are saying we have this great economy, but we have, maybe because of the population growth and the baby boomers' kids going into the economy,
right,
we need maybe, we're missing maybe 4 or 5 million jobs. We may never make up for those. So the stress
right. Well,
is
you
there.
need about somewhere like 130 to 150,000 new jobs per month just to keep even in terms of
That's right.
new people entering the job market, and we haven't done that. It took them 4 years to add the first new net job.
Yeah. And what kind of jobs are they?
And they aren't as good at jobs by and large.
Yeah, that's why we say the bottom fell out of the middle of the economy, because it just fell down. And there's all these people who are wondering what's going on with their lives. They feel stressed out. The conservatives are not supporting Bush on the spending issue. I mean, we've reported for 4 years that we never said he was a conservative, because conservatives don't spend that kind of money. They don't go into debt that way, although kind of Reagan did and his dad did. But he wants to have an economy where he said, well, don't vote me out of office, conservatives, the way my dad was voted out. I'm going to have a different kind of economics than my dad. Instead of seniornomics, we call it juniornomics, because basically he's trying not to say it's his dad's presidency. But he's ended up economically with his dad's presidency, because he said, well, I'm going to have to cut taxes somewhere, otherwise the conservatives will be like, with my dad, get rid of me. And he didn't want to touch Social Security, because the shock to the economy, we said, was when he touched the third rail of politics in 2000.
Well, he did want to touch Social Security, and he tried, and he couldn't.
Yeah, he dropped it for 4 years until he got back in office safely. And now he's saying, we should do, well, he was saying do something about it.
Over. That's over, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of alternative media, that's something that we have worked really hard on. We found we were going to do this for about a year or so, and we don't get paid for it. But we've got a big audience of people. All these different groups count on us in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo County. That's a very important thing. I don't have to ask you, isn't it? Because that's what you're involved in. But we see the corporate mergers in the commercial media affecting almost all the media in San Luis Obispo County here. Radio is almost all owned by Clear Channel. Our friend Dick Mason over there is somebody who's kind of more part of the independent media. And it's not a coincidence, I think, that we're the ones who are here to talk to you. And alternative media is important, isn't it, in terms of getting messages out?
Yeah, and we do have a problem with concentration of media. Oddly enough, Clear Channel's been a big champion of Air America, which I don't know what that's about exactly, other than that we've been successful for them. One of the first stations we were on was in Portland, Oregon, is still there, KPOJ, and we've been a tremendous success. So Clear Channel's put us on about, I think, 27 markets. They have 4 times as many stations as anybody else. That is probably a dangerous thing. But as a result, they have enough stations that aren't working that they can put us on them and put us in different cities.
Well, Charter Communications, one of the bigger cable channels started by Paul Allen, and they put us on here. So we're not enemies of the corporations out there. We're concerned, though, about the pressure put on the working people, because if the American middle class is like way in debt and the government is getting more expensive under the Republicans, people have less time to do things, including listen to radio, go to movies. It's affected entertainment. We happened to interview just a few days ago Lorraine Newman from a show called Saturday Night Live, and she was very gracious about what her history is, what she's working on. And we said one of the concerns we have in Hollywood is an awful lot of the people who don't have the right connections, maybe don't get the right kind of jobs still, including minorities or women. The Writers Guild did a study and showed that in the last 5 years they haven't made progress on women and blacks as writers. And I don't know, are there not enough liberals in Hollywood or something? What's going on with that?
I don't know. Chris Rock started a humor magazine at Howard University. I spoke to them. I've spoke to them a couple of times, and he's doing something to try to get more black comedy writers.